it's an honor, with or without a voice, whether it's low or whether it's high. It's an honor to defend Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm going to re-mention that point. If my voice, I lose it, I'll stop and I'll do this again. Now there's a lot of people here today. We didn't advertise this event on an issue. I don't think I have. Other than perhaps Muhammed Asim Hussain, when he went down the street, Sunni Muslims, the true Ahlul Sunnah, to come and unite on this mas'ala. There's a huge onslaught on this issue. There's other more important issues. I know that. But right now, this is one of the biggest issues. On my Facebook insights, reaching nearly 1 million. 1 million we've reached regarding this mas'ala. My page has reached 1 million in relation to the Mawlid issue. To defend it, to honor it, to respect it. Because there's people out there who disrespect and dishonor Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam's milad. They consider what we are doing is haram. They think we are all individuals who commit haram right now. They don't accept us. They believe this is unheard of. It's an innovation. The Prophet never did it, alayhi salatu wassalam. Companions never did it. The scholars never did it. You made this up. It's a question for many years we've been looking at. We've had many lions stand and they've defended. Many have. And they did a grand and great job. One of them, Sheikh Asrar, his most recent speech about 3-4 years ago. Mawlid Fact or Fiction. Great speech. Sakim Shami Sahib. Sakim Shami Sahib. He's doing a speech on Mawlid. But this speech is more a debate than a speech. His every point I want to analyze. He's accused us. He has slandered us. If you listen to him recently, today, the subject completely changed. It's a character assassination of me. I'm now in the limelight for him, not the Mawlid. These are fitnas in our times. Anyhow, I'm going to begin. Allah Ta'ala give me tawfiq to speak the truth. Allah give me tawfiq to defend the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah give me tawfiq to speak the truth and to deliver this truth to all of you. For indeed, tawfiq is from Allah and the truth is from Allah. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ الْعَلِيِّ الْعَظِيمِ. الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين أصحابه الغر الميامين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون. سبحان الله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. درود شریف پڑھیے. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the jewel of creation, the crown of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts, the inspirer to our minds, the awakener of our souls, the most honored one, the most praised one, the most merciful one. None other than Sayyiduna wa Nabiyyuna wa Habibuna wa Habibu Rabbina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barak wa sallam. Last year, in December, a brother by the name of Imran ibn Mansur, this brother delivered a speech onto YouTube. The speech was about celebrating the Prophet ﷺ's Mawlid or not. He delivered this speech and he mentioned his proofs and evidences against the Mawlid. This was brought to my knowledge on the way to Leicester. I was going to do a speech there. Allahu Akbar. On that day I lost my voice as well. And during my speech my voice came back. You can ask him. I mentioned that in that video as well. He came back. He will come back, I guarantee you. In Leicester, in my speech I mentioned that this speech had been done against the Mawlid, etc. And I put out a challenge. I challenged the Salafi manhaj. He delivered his proofs in response to that challenge. And he delivered it so that I respond to his evidences as well. I put a video up in which I said I listened to your speech and I'm inviting you to come to today's talk, this one now, on Monday. I extend my invitation so you come. He put a video up presenting two more from the response to my invite. So go in there. No problem. That's your focus. That's your view. But he said at the end that if you want a cup of tea, no problem, we can sit and discuss, etc. I responded to that video saying, I accept that you haven't accepted my invitation. You have indicated that I don't have the understanding of even a 5-year-old. You've indicated indirectly and slandered me and accused me. You've done all of that. And not once have I spoke about you badly. Not once have I said, you're this or you're that. You're a dirty Salafi, you're a Najdi or Wahhabi. Nothing. Nothing. I've not done nothing to you. I just want to debate you, discuss with you the Mawlid. Not me, not you. I didn't say, why do you move your hands around? And the whole world's telling you, I'm not telling you. I'm just repeating what they said. I didn't say that. I didn't say any of this thing to you. I've not labeled you bad. If people have said stuff and I'm favored today, no problem. That thappar can have two meanings. Literal and metaphorical. Now debate me. Hakikat or majaz, come on. Ask his intention. It was majaz, metaphorical. Ilmi thappar. A thappar of knowledge. Could mean anything. That doesn't prove he says one thing and does another. I still say, Brother Imran, I still mention you with respect. Because our ulama taught us that. I oppose everything, but the akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ stands out for me. I gave this video to say, no problem, can you give me a date and time? I can come and see you, my brother. We can have a cup of tea at Costa, whatever. Kashmiri, you name it. Anything will go just to meet you, my brother. I don't think in this world there's anyone that wants to meet you more than me. I don't think Shaitan wants to see them much. I'm telling you, I want to see you. I'm saying it again, I want to meet you. He, after a year, responded to my challenge. We will look at his response in detail. That's the tradition of Sayyidina Sister. Those who know, they know. The way I say, I was chat nonsense, get banned. Can't use that word. Chat nonsense, get banned. I'm not talking about him, I'm saying the statement. Anyhow, don't attribute this statement to him. I didn't say about you, Imran. Before you put a post against me saying the same thing. I did it, I'm telling you. See, we live in a world where you've got to be very clear and sharp in everything you say. Every point gets picked, everything's getting recorded. I said, invite. Allah Ta'ala knows best what his intention was to put Pir Saqib Shami's clip on. But it got a reaction out of him. He deliberately, Allah A'lam again, I'll take this word back, he put this clip up where Pir Saqib Shami was discussing and mentioning Qul bi fadlillahi wa bi rahmatihi, this verse. And quoted Ibn Abbas, his view on this. To which I responded and said, this view is an accepted viewpoint. And I mentioned the narration of Abu Shaykh from Ibn Abbas. And further supported by Ibn al-Jawzi, Muhaddis Ibn Jawzi, chain of the heart from Sayyidina Abbas, Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala. I responded to this, to which he said the chain's weak, we don't accept weak narration. I didn't want to get into a bahs of usul of hadith. I didn't. And then he said, you still haven't responded to my talk. I want to make one point clear. Who's diverted from the topic at hand? He put a video out. I said, I'm going to respond to your video on Monday. I said that. But I'm inviting you. I didn't want to discuss the topic of the video until Monday. He then diverted it by putting Pir Saqib Shami. When he put Pir Saqib Shami Sahab's clip up, the entire discussion diverted to this stuff. I then, once responding to him, he responded back to me. I gave more evidence from Usul al-Tafsir. Tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran, Tafsir al-Quran bil-Hadith. I did that. I mentioned that. I mentioned these dalail. It wasn't satisfactory to his standards. Then he returned a video, the one before today, in which he mentioned, you haven't mentioned, you haven't spoke about the talk, mentioned the talk, etc., etc. And today a video has gone up where you can judge for yourself whether you're neutral in the crowd whether you are pro-Mawlid or you are anti-Mawlid, to change the discussion from the Mawlid issue, this verse, to a character assassination on me, that he's a liar or he's this or whatever is attributed. I'm not even listening to the video, I'll be very honest with you. I've got people to listen and tell me what has been said. This is the story of events that has taken place since last year's Mawlid to this year's Mawlid. Let me start off now, after this introduction, to make you understand and put things in your perspective and in your mind. If this is a debate, whenever I sat here, they'll tell you, write down your da'wah, write down your claim. What is it that you are arguing against? He's arguing against the practice of Mawlid, the permissibility and validity of Mawlid. The next question an alim would ask, with this, write your definition of Mawlid. Define Mawlid first. If Mawlid is Christmas lights and this, if this is your definition of Mawlid, then leave it. Define Mawlid. My first question, my brother, you haven't defined Mawlid yet. What are you fighting against? You don't even know what it is. What's Mawlid? Give me the definition of this. I'll debate you if you define what I am debating you against. You haven't told nobody. You mentioned bid'ah, nahi, tarak, then you've gone straight away. Mawlid started by the Fatimis. My brother, he hasn't foreign. The word Mawlid denotes time and place. Ismu zarf, zarf zaman and zarf makan. Zarf zaman, this is that noun which denotes place. Zarf zaman, time, makan, place. The word Mawlid literally means the time and place of the Prophet ﷺ's birth. And it is to be happy. My definition of Mawlid is to be happy at the Prophet ﷺ's birth. Take this definition to ulama and muftiyani hazrat. Ask the scholars, what hukam, what ruling will you give if this is the definition of Mawlid? This is definition of Mawlid, to be happy and to express praise at the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. Tell me, what ruling will the scholars give? I have asked some of the biggest scholars in this country that if this definition was presented to you, what is the hukam? And ulama will tell you, it is wajib. Subhanallah. Leave sunnah. Leave bid'ah. Leave all of this. If you ask your scholars to express happiness at the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, to be happy that they were born. This is my definition of Mawlid. To be happy that the Prophet ﷺ was born. What ruling would be applied here? Put your hand on your heart and ask this question. Ask your heart. That to be happy isn't that what he feels, to be happy? If you're sad the Prophet ﷺ was born, let's do the acts of this. Opposite. If you were sad the Prophet ﷺ was born, where would your iman be? What iman do you have in your heart? It is a rukn of iman. It is a rukn look at, it's a pillar of your belief to be happy at the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. That is my definition of Mawlid. That is the definition of Mawlid. To be happy at the birth of Rasulullah ﷺ. Tell me, if I concluded my speech here now, right now, is there any contention to even debate? Have I given you opportunity to say, argue with me? Imran, my question to you now. Ask your ulama, the Salafi ulama. Ask them that if this definition that I've given, which is true, to be happy at the birth is haru shukr, to express happiness at the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is this hukm wajib or not? To be happy they were born. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came into this world. It is wajib, necessary upon every mu'min, every believer, everyone who says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, to believe in this and accept this. Hazrat, this is my definition. I start with that. I start with this definition. And to prove this definition, I bring the Quran and Sunnah forward. Let's look at what the Quran has said. If this is what I have established, I'll begin with the verse of the Quran. قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا وخير مما يجمعون. Allah Ta'ala said, "Qul, oh my beloved, you tell them. Oh my beloved, you tell them. You tell the people. Bifadlillah, fadl of Allah, by the fadl of Allah, wa bi rahmatihi, and by His mercy, through His fadl and through His mercy. Fabidhalika, it is for that, falyafrahu, that they should rejoice." If we was to analyze this grammatically, he said, how relevant is this verse to the Quran, to the Mawlid? How relevant is this to the Mawlid? Analyze this grammatically. Jar and Majroor has come first. Jar and Majroor, the ulama will understand this terminology, and those who this is going to, they will understand hopefully as well. When Jar and Majroor comes before the sentence, you need to start the sentence. لِإِفَادَةِ الْحَصْرِ, it gives the meaning of exclusivity. It's exclusive. لِلَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ. This could be bifadlillah wa birahmati. This is now become exclusive. Fabizalika, fa here is sababiyya. It is here for sabab. There's a reason that is coming. It's explaining the reason. فَلْيَفْرَهُ is fi'l amr. Fi'l amr gives hukam of wujub. Where Allah commands in the Quran, it is wajib for you to follow that command. The command is فَلْيَفْرَهُ. They should be happy. They should rejoice. They should celebrate, commemorate. Celebrate, commemorate. These are words in the English language. Any one of you can open your iPhones and Samsung and download dictionary.com. This app and this app will tell you what celebrate comes for, what commemorate comes for. To remember a historic event, to be happy. Celebrate, commemorate. They are synonyms. They come for the same meaning. They denote the same. To rejoice and be happy are synonyms. Allah said, be happy. Be happy at what? Be happy for what? Allah's fadl, Allah's rahmah. This fadl and rahmah is open to discussion. something clear. He falsely edited a clip of mine and wanted to prove, if you listen to my talk, my clip, I proved this. Where he said, to establish this, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ, my view is, Rahmah only means the Prophet. No. I didn't say that. My argument is, Rahmah comes for a number of meanings, of which one of them is the Prophet ﷺ. He made it out like my view is, Rahmah only comes for the Prophet ﷺ. That's the biggest mistake he made. He apologized to this. I accept his apology. But I tell him, be careful in how you edit. Don't pick and choose. Don't take what suits you. Because if you listen to the entire sentence, I clarified that in that video. Then you edit it from. He continued. Fadl could mean Islam. Rahmah means the Quran is telling us the Prophet ﷺ is merciful. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَى رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The highest authority within the usul of tafsir, by which, through his own word, bil Quran, Allah commentates, Allah explains the Quran with the Quran, like صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. أنعمت has been used. In another verse, Allah Ta'ala said, أنعم الله عليهم. An'ama was used there. An'ama was used here. They were used both together in Surah Al-Fatiha and in the other verse. Ulama say, are guided. Those who have been guided, if أنعم الله عليهم, in this verse. Likewise, قل بفضل. Hazrat Jawzi mentioned it. Over there, Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti mentioned it. Don't and back into the greater context. Why the say to them, oh, it is with the fadl of Allah and His mercy. From the Quran, Allah Ta'ala talks about, Allah Ta'ala honors Deja when He said, Hazrat Isa, but in which book Allah is answering. Make that clear. This is the wording we get from the word of Allah. I want to ask, what's your understanding, my brother? Tell me, how do you understand this? How do you understand? You might say, Imam Sahib, I don't want your understanding. How did the Prophet understand it? How did Nabi alayhi salatu salam understand the significance of the births of the prophets of Allah? Did Nabi alayhi salatu salam on the night of Mi'raj, where did they stop? Where did Nabi alayhi salatu salam stop on the night of Mi'raj? Allahu Akbar. The night of Mi'raj, Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, hadith is mentioned by Sayyidina Shaddad ibn Aus. Hazrat Jibreel commanded the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to pray 2 rak'ahs at Bayt Laham. At Bayt Laham. Bayt means house, Laham means meat, slaughterhouse. ثم قال له الله نصبح. قال Jibreel said, صليت ببيت لحم حيث ولد المسيح ابن مريم. And then Jibreel said, you just prayed at Bayt Lahm, the slaughterhouse. حيث, this is where ولد المسيح, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam was given birth to. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam was given birth at this place. You just prayed 2 rak'ahs nafal there. My question is, why there? Where the prophets prayed, that place becomes significant. It becomes special because of the link to the Prophet of Allah. My question is, Imran, my question is to the Salafi ulama, why did the Prophet ﷺ pray there? What is the significance of this place? It is significant because Sayyidina Isa, Ruhullah, Nabi and Rasul of Allah Almighty, was born there. If Isa salam was born there, it's special. What do you think about the place where the Prophet was born? My question. Ponder over this. What's your understanding? You can say, Imam Sahib, your understanding is this. What did the Prophet understand? This is what they understood. They understood the significance of those places, the significance of that time. Allah Almighty acknowledges the significance of that time. Wassalamu alayya yawma wulidtu. Peace be upon me the day I was born. Allahu Akbar. Peace be upon me the day I was born. Amazing. The Quran is telling us this. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam taught us this. He continues further. Then we see, Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. These are my proofs, evidences, where expressing happiness at the Prophet ﷺ's birth is necessary upon every believer. Certainly, Allah Almighty favored the believers. مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا. When Ba'atha has been used here, when he sent the Prophet to them. Nabi alayhi salatu salam's coming is a day of blessing. It's a day of mercy. It's a significant day. According to the Quran is telling us this. It is a special day. The day Allah Ta'ala sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to the believers. This is Allah Ta'ala's favor upon the believers. There's a difference between a blessing and a favor. I give you something, you are blessed with it. It's a blessing. Imam Sahib gave me a scarf. Not that it's blessed, but you get it and you think in your mind, no problem. You get a blessing from a great Allama of our time. He gives you something. It's a blessing. I will cherish this, honor this. But when you are in need of help, when you are in need, you don't know, and you get a blessing, that blessing now becomes a favor. He's helped you. He's assisted you. Allahu Akbar. The difference between blessing and favor, after understanding the simple example, Allah Ta'ala didn't say, certainly Allah bless the believers. Manna kunso ihsan here. The Arabic language open it. Manna here kunso ihsan. Certainly Allah Ta'ala favored the believers. Allah Ta'ala did ihsan upon the mu'mineen. He didn't say mankind. He specified believers. Those who believe, for them it is a favor. For those who don't believe, they don't know. What do they understand? What do they know? Those who know, they know. Those who know. If you're a believer, you know that the Prophet ﷺ's birth, Nabi alayhi salatu salam's birth, Allah Ta'ala sent this as a favor. Nabi alayhi salatu salam's coming is a favor. If a favor comes to you, the least you do is hungry. Izhar shukr. Say, Ya Allah, thank you. You thank that person. You say, Ya Allah, thank you that you've given me such a blessing. You've done such a favor that in the entire Quran you have never referred to. You have never referred to any blessing as a favor. But here you refer to this blessing as a favor. Allahu Akbar. The least we should do is thank Allah Ta'ala the day the Prophet ﷺ came to this world. That's the least. The least. These are people trying to say, you can't do this. This is not. I am certain 99.9% they will agree with what I'm saying now. They can't dispute it. How can they not thank Allah for the Prophet's birth? You had the Quran after the Prophet came. You had Iman and Islam after the Prophet came. Nabi Sallallahu came and you understood the Quran. How can you not? And another verse of the Quran, Allah said, talk about the blessings of your Lord. Talk about the blessings of your Lord. Talk about them. Do tahdith. Talking about the blessings of Allah is something that is promoted in the Quran. When Allah blesses you with a boy, you write posts on Facebook telling the world, Allah has given me a son. Allah has given me a daughter. You feel very happy at that point. Why can't you write a post in the honor of the Prophet? Why can't you write a post in honor of the Prophet's birth? Who is your daughter? People want to stop. People, they want to stop this. How can you write? What's wrong with that? Allah said, talk about His blessings. What's the greatest blessing? We believe the greatest blessing is Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are proofs of why we believe we celebrate the Mawlid. We express happiness at the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are proofs of the Quran. The Quran is telling us this. When we move further, we look into the ahadith. After the four proofs, hujjat within our Sharia, Quran, the Quran. When we go into verses of or ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, let me start with the first hadith. The first hadith that he picked on. He picked on this hadith and said, "Do you know Bukhari? You put this on your Facebook page." And we write the hadith of Abu Lahab. Hazrat al-Muhtaram. Here we have ulama present in Bukhari Sharif. Here is the hadith in Bukhari Sharif. He was mentioning to you, I've written, I'm the type of speaker that when I mention a point, I mention points, at times we don't reference. He said, you don't reference. I said, no problem. You want me to reference? I'll bring you references. You have books behind your back. I have books in front of me. I'll give you reference. Here. Bukhari Sharif Hadith. The 5,101. The Hadith is clear. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Urwa ibn Zubair mentions Habiba, the daughter of Sayyidina Abu Sufyan, أخبرتها. She informed her. أنها قالت, that she said, and the hadith goes on, the most important part of this hadith I'm going to mention here. When the Prophet ﷺ was born, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's uncle Abu Lahab is cursed by name in the Quran. Tabbat yada Abi Lahab. Even Pharaoh's name's not being mentioned. Pharaoh is his title, not his name. Pharaoh's name's not being mentioned. But here Abu Lahab's name is mentioned in the Quran. Tabbat yada Abi Lahab. May the two hands of Abu Lahab be perished, destroyed. For he said, when the Prophet called him to Islam, Tabban laka sa'ir al-yawm. May you be perished all day. You wasted my time, Allah. And Allah sent this ayah to defend the Prophet. May your two hands be destroyed. When this was said, keep this point in mind. He had a slave girl called Thuwayba. Thuwayba was present at the time when the Prophet ﷺ that your brother's wife has given birth to a boy. When this was said, Kana Abu Lahabin a'taqaha. Abu Lahab freed her. Abu Lahab freed her and did ishara with his fingers. Go. You brought me good news. I free you from slavery. This is what he did. Then he continued. And فأرضعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فلما مات أبو لهب أريه بعض أهله بشر حيبة. Abu Lahab passed away and some of his family seen him in a dream in a bad state. قال له, they said to him, ماذا لكيت? How have you found the next month? How is your state? قال أبو لهب, Abu Lahab said, لم ألقى بعدكم خيرا. I have not found any good. غير, except, there's one exception. أني سقيت في هذه بعتاقة صليبة. Except through these two fingers, through this ishara I gave, I quench my thirst. I get moist from this and the punishment is reduced. Hazrat al-Muhtaram, he said, first of all, this narration, in other words, is mentioned by Imam al-Baghawi in his Sharh al-Sunnah. The Salafis love Hafiz ibn Kasir. Hafiz ibn Kasir mentions this in his Al-Bidayah wal-Nihayah. What are you going to say now? Hafiz ibn Kasir didn't know what the hadith is. Imam Bukhari mentions this in his Sahih. He said, Imam Bukhari in his Muqaddimah. Qari Sahib knows why. I laugh loud, but I got no voice yet. Imam Bukhari mentioned in his Muqaddimah, Imran, ulama here. Where's Bukhari's Muqaddimah? Does Bukhari have a Muqaddimah? Ulama, does Bukhari have a Muqaddimah? Let me open up Bukhari Sharif for you, Imran. I think your scholars just gave you a script to read off. And I know best, without any mock. This copy, Abu Abdullah al-Bukhari, Nasabahu wa Miladu, his tarjuma, his biography. Oh, there's no muqaddimah. Imran, my challenge to you, find me Bukhari's muqaddimah. Find me. I promise you'll never find it. Bukhari doesn't have a muqaddimah, preface. He doesn't. Imam Muslim had it in Sahih Muslim. His words were, Bukhari in his muqaddimah mentioned this hadith is mu'allaq. My question is, how many types of mu'allaq are there? Forget everything else. How many types of mu'allaq are there in usul al-hadith? My brother, these two things I'm challenging you. Show me Bukhari's muqaddimah and tell me the types of mu'allaq there are. That's my first challenge to him. Let me make this clear. This hadith we use. Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti deduced what ruling, what understanding. That if a kafir shows happiness at the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, then and his punishment is reduced. What do you think the reward will be for those believers who show happiness at the Prophet ﷺ? said that you can express happiness. This is dalil for us. Use it for fadail. You tell me where Bukhari's Muqaddimah is. He says, I'm jahil. I may be. I don't have a lot of knowledge. But I thank Allah for the teachers He's given me. I thank Allah for the ustaz He's given me. Shaykh al-Hadith Sahib Maulana Zulfikar hai. Hazrat al-Muhtaram, the next hadith we all know very well. Mentioned by Imam Muslim in his Sahih, and Abi Qatadata, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, su'ila an yawm al-ithnain. Muslim mentions in his Sahih from Sayyidina Abi Qatada radiyallahu ta'ala. Nabi alayhi salatu salam was asked. Nabi alayhi salatu salam was asked about the day of fasting on Monday. Fasting on the day of Monday. And sawmi yawm al-ithnain. Why do you fast on Monday? They were asked this question. Faqala, look at it. Dhaka yawmun ولدت فيه ويوم بعثت فيه. That is the day. That is the day. ذاك يوم ولدت فيه. I was born on. I fast on Monday. Why? What's the reason for fasting on Monday? Because the Prophet ﷺ is telling us they were born on Monday. There's no ikhtilaf the day they were born. It's Monday. Sahih Muslim is telling us this. Sahih Muslim is telling us this. Nabi alayhi salatu salam were born on Monday. ذَاكَ يَوْمٌ وُلِدْتُ فِيهِ. That's the first thing. And that's the day that Allah Ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu sent the Quran as well. I was sent on that Monday. Nabi alayhi salatu salam, announcement of Prophet will happen on Monday. Hazrat, this hadith is clear. It is sound. There is no dispute in its validity and authenticity. My question is, what do you say about this hadith? You say, you fasted on Monday, why don't you fast? We do fast. But my point of proving from this hadith is that did the Prophet ﷺ acknowledge the day of their birth? Yes or no? They acknowledged the day of their birth. And it was considered special. Why? Because it was the day they were born. The hadith is clear. This is my second proof in relation to the permissibility of Mawlid. My third proof. Hadith mentioned in Mustadrak of Imam al-Hakim. I have it with me. And the Mujibul Kabir of Alama Tabarani. Tabarani mentions and Mustadrak Hakim mentions. Hadith praising Nabi alayhi salatu salam after the Battle of Tabuk. فسمعت العباس بن عبد المطلب يقول يا رسول الله إني أريد أن أمتدحك. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قل لا يفدد الله فاك. لا يفدد الله فاك. الله أكبر. Hazrat Abbas said, Ya Rasulullah, look amazing, Sahaba's Aqidah. Ya Rasulullah, inni uridu, I have this irada, intention, and amtadihaka, to praise you. I want to praise you. I want to read a poem praising you. A poem that I have written for you. Allahu Akbar. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Nabi alayhi salam said, O Abbas, qul. Abbas, speak. Abbas, read this poem. لا يفضل الله فاك. May Allah Allah make your mouth not run dry. May your mouth not run dry. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu took permission and they began to pray. And then we know the very famous أنت لما ولدت أشرقت الأرض وضاءت بنورك الأفق. This was, I have Hakim's Mustadrak here. Don't worry about people walking out. Don't concentrate on what I'm saying. You're here to listen and learn. Listen and learn carefully. Hakim's Mustadrak. Imam Hakim said, this hadith is mentioned here in his Mustadrak. He mentions this, it's further supported by Ibn Hajar in his Al-Isaba fi Tamyiz al-Sahaba. He said there was 30,000 Sahaba there at that time. 30,000 Sahaba. After the Battle of Tabuk, Hazrat Abbas said, I want to praise you, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet said, don't praise me. They didn't say, don't praise me. They said, cool. Say what you have to say. May your mouth, may Allah Almighty not ever make your mouth be dry. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Abbas prayed. Tell me where the Prophet ﷺ said, don't praise me. I know they're going to say, don't overpraise me. They bring this hadith, but they've not understood this. On another day I'll explain to you. Nabi alayhi salatu salam didn't say, stop it, it's too much. Nabi alayhi salatu salam listened and made dua for Hazrat Abbas as well. 30,000 Sahaba listened to this poem which spoke about the birth of the Prophet. Even the Sahaba, they acknowledge the significance of the Prophet's birth in the poetry. It's clear in Hakim's Mustadrak and Al-Mujam al-Kabir for Imam Hazrat Imam Tabrani rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. And then we see that this is also mentioned again in Tabrani and Mujam's Hakim's Mustadrak, the next hadith. If we was to open this, another dalil for the validity according to the Sahaba, what they understood. With this is by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After the announcement of their prophethood, Akika is the feast you give. This is done once. And when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, their grandfather Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib radiallahu anhu, they did this feast with all the people. Question now is, why did the Prophet ﷺ do it again? It was done once. Aqa'an nafsihi ba'da al-nabuwa. Hadith is mentioned by Imam al-Bayhaqi and Alama Tahawi mentioned in Sharh Mushkil al-Asar. These ulama have mentioned this hadith inside their books. Nabi alayhi salatu salam performed the Aqiqah after announcement of prophethood. This was done when they were born. Why do it again? Why? Because one, Nabi alayhi salatu salam is establishing a sunnah after Islam has come. Somebody may argue and say, Ya Rasulullah, this was before Islam. But this is daleel. This is a daleel. Somebody will say, it was done, Ya Rasulullah. But it didn't become sunnah as Islam after the announcement of the Prophet ﷺ's Nabuwa. When Islam was established, Islam came. And that Muhammad Asim established this as a sunnah, telling us Nabi alayhi salam understood the significance of their own birth by doing Aqiqah not once, it was not once, not that time, they did it themselves. So what's the prayer? wishes for Allah. I let you think what I'm thinking. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. Hazrat, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam performed the Aqiqah not once, twice. Twice the Aqiqah was performed. Not once, twice. First time by the grandfather, second time themselves, establishing a sunnah, a practice, that when a child is born, express happiness. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam doing this after announcement of prophethood is the dalil. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, after the advent of Islam, were happy at their own birth. That's why they did Aqiqah again. This is mentioned clearly. It is mentioned there. We see that I presented 4 or 5 ayat of the Quran. 4 or 5 ayat of the Quran. 4 or 5 ayat of the Quran. Also, 4 hadiths I mentioned. The next point I want to bring Imran's attention to. Imran said, I mentioned the actual name of Bukhari Sharif. Did anyone pick up the mistake he made? He said that I made a mistake in my speech where I mentioned Al-Musannif. I did. I was told straight after. But in the very same speech, I said Musannaf as well. So I rectified myself. You, my brother, made the same mistake. Nobody rectified you. Nobody's told you how to say Sayyid Bukhari's actual name. He said, Sahih Hadith Al-Jami Al-Muslim. They talk about Bukhari so much, they don't even know how to say the actual name of Imam Bukhari's book properly. How do you say it? Al-Jami Al-Sahih Al-Musnad من حديث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وسننه وأيامه. That's how you say the names of books, my brother. That's how you say the names. You said Bukhari, my brothers. Who are you taking knowledge from? An individual who can't say the names of Bukhari Sharif properly. Yet this is the most authentic book after the Quran. Authentic book. Yet he doesn't know how to pronounce the name. He said, Sahih Hadith, Al-Jami Al-Musnad. No. Al-Jami Al-Sahih Al-Musnad min Hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa sunanihi wa ayyamihi. That's how you say the name, my brother. Just have to make that point. Because we have to go through everything. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat, this hour and 10 minutes was just to establish proofs, evidences for why we celebrate the Mawlid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, recap, performed their own Aqiqah after announcement of prophethood. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Sahaba, praised the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet ﷺ didn't stop them. Nabi ﷺ fasted on Monday because they was born on Monday. And Abu Lahab freed. And he mentioned all this. Hafiz ibn Kasir mentioned this. If I'm wrong for understanding this, what is Ibn Kasir's understanding then? Tell me, was Ibn Kasir wrong as well? Are you going to put the same fatwa on him? Was Imam Suyuti wrong as well? Are you going to put the same fatwa on him? Points to ponder and question. The next matter I want to discuss, and there are 7 matters I need to go in total. matter which I think everyone will be very interested in. It's the hot topic of bid'ah. Innovation. Innovation, bid'ah, bid'ah, bid'ah. It's a bid'ah, brother. Mawlid is a bid'ah. Let me start this discussion with our claim of what bid'ah is. Our da'wah, our claim, is there is a concept in Sharia of good bid'ah and bad bid'ah. And this was the understanding of the Sahaba, and this was the understanding of the Imams, the true Imams of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This is my claim, my da'wah. And for this, I present my dalil. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam said, very famous hadith, Kullu bid'atin dalal, wa kullu dalalatin finnar. This hadith is mentioned in Bukhari Sharif. It literally translates to every innovation is bad. And every bad thing, misguided thing, every innovation is misguided. Every misguided thing is in the hellfire. That is the literal translation. My understanding and the understanding of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is every innovation that is against the Quran and Sunnah, every innovation that is against Quran and Sunnah, that is bad. This is my understanding and the understanding of the Ahlul Sunnah and please. We just stick to this hadith in Bukhari Sharif. Every innovation is misguided. The say kullu means kullu. Every means absolutely every. I bring a hadith from Jami Tirmizi where the Prophet ﷺ said, Kullu aynin zaniya. Every eye is a fornicating eye. If we say every eye, what about if he's blind and he can't see? Point to think about. He's never seen haram because he's blind. First, every eye. Does that include, ma'azallah, the Prophets of Allah's eyes? The Prophets of Allah's eyes? If we say every single eye, that would include the Prophet's eyes as well, ma'azallah. But they say, no. Here, it's not every eye the way you said it. It is every eye that has the intention of zina. That is the eye of zina. Every eye that has this premeditated intention. Not every single eye. If every doesn't mean absolutely every here, then how we understand this every innovation doesn't mean absolutely every innovation. A single night from 12 till 1 can be said praying nafil every night at 12 till 1 is allowed. They'll say no. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do this. We will say yes. Why? Because the origin of performing voluntary prayers is established in Sharia. Because the asal is mawjood, the asal is present, then after that everything becomes accepted. We said, kullu bid'atin dalala. Every innovation is misguided. Every single one. So anything you add, these are all misguided matters. Let me now take you to a hadith in Jami Tirmizi. You want to understand Jami al-Sunan of Imam Tirmidhi. In Sunan al-Tirmidhi, you understand. We understand the hadith kullu bidatin dalal. They say you understand the Prophet ﷺ, from the Prophet ﷺ if they explained. And who understood the Prophet the best? Companions alayhi salatu wasalam. This is a hadith in Jami al-Tirmidhi. Ulama, I want you to listen very carefully to the words. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, hadith is mentioned by Sayyidina Bilal ibn al-Harith. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Man ibtada'a bid'atan dalalatan. Look, listen very carefully. This is a big dalil to understand kullu bid'atin dalal. Man ibtada'a bid'atan dalalatan la yardaha Allahu wa rasuluhu kana alayhi mithlu athami man amila biha la yunkisu dhalika min awzari nasi shay'a. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, they said, Man ibtada'a bid'atan dalalatan. Whoever introduces a bad bid'ah. And in the first hadith they said every bid'ah is bad. So they've defined their understanding. So if every hadith is bad, why do they need to say this then? They're telling you this because there's a difference between good bid'ah and bad bid'ah. من ابتدع بدعة ضلالة لا يرضاه الله ورسوله. بدعة ضلالة is موصوف صفة. This becomes the صفة الأول يعني ضلالة. Then because it's nakira, a jumla can become صفة ثاني. Allah Akbar. لا يرضاه الله ورسوله. Whoever introduces a bad bid'ah that Allah and His Rasul are not happy with. This sifat saniya. This is ihtirazi. This sifat is ihtirazi. What is sifat? Adjective. What is mawsuf? The thing being described. Bid'ah is what is being described. It has been described with the description bad. That's the first description of bid'ah in this hadith. The second description is that innovation that is bad, that Allah and His Rasul are not happy with. The Prophet ﷺ is telling us, in other words, there are innovations that Allah and His Rasul can't be happy with. That's why it's ihtirazi. It creates this meaning. This understanding is deduced. Allahu Akbar. La yardahu Allahu wa rasuluhu. Allah and His Rasul are not happy with this. So what about if you bring something new into the deen that Allah and His Rasul are happy with? Will you say it's a bad bid'ah? The Prophet defined it. They've explained it clearly here. Whoever introduces a bad bid'ah, la yardahu Allahu wa rasuluhu. Allah and His Rasul are not happy with. Explain clearly the concept of bid'ah. The Prophet is telling us, good bid'ah. In fact, they themselves are telling you there's a bad bid'ah. Automatically understood is the opposite. There is a good bid'ah. So to understand bid'ah, you have to understand the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where they said, Man sanna fil Islami sunnatan hasanatan. You can't understand, you cannot understand the concept of bid'ah without this hadith. Amazing, isn't it? Prophet ﷺ said, whoever introduces in Islam a good practice, فَلَهُ أَجْرُهَا, for him will be its reward. وَأَجْرُ مَنْ عَمِلَ بِهَا بَعْدَهُ, and the reward of all those who do it after him. مِنْ غَيْرِ أَنْ يَنْقُصَ مِنْ أُجُورِهِ شَيْءٌ, except that nothing will be decreased from them. They will get the ajr, you will get your ajr. Then they said, وَمَنْ سَنَّ فِي الْإِسْلَامِ سُنَّةً سَيِّئَةً, whoever introduces in Islam a bad sunnah, a bad practice. Sunnah here is literal. It's lugwi ma'na, not its istirahi ma'na, not its technical definition. كان عليه وزرها ووزر من عمل بها من بعده من غير أن ينقص من أوزارهم شيء. Upon him will be its punishment, the sin, and all those who do the sin after, their sin will be on him, nothing will decrease from them. They say, Sunnah means ihya sunnah, to revive the sunnah. Whoever revives the Prophet's sunnah, for him. Why did the Prophet ﷺ then say good sunnah and bad sunnah? Are you trying to imply that the Prophet ﷺ did bad sunnah? You can't apply that meaning when you understand that this meaning cannot be applied. Then what does sunnah mean? Sunnah means to invent something new. The Prophet said, whoever invents something new that is good, sunnatan hasanatan, falahu ajruha, he will be rewarded for that. Kullu bidatin dalala, every innovation is misguided, and every misguided thing is the hellfire. But here the Prophet said, whoever brings something new that is good, there's a contradiction. Apparently there's a contradiction between the two of these. How do you consolidate this? How do you do jump between these two ahadith? It's simple. Kullu bidatin dalala cannot mean every single innovation is bad. It cannot mean that. If that's the case, then this hadith, you'll have to admit, can't be accepted. Because we accept this hadith and that hadith, we say every innovation that goes against the Quran and Sunnah, that is bad. It's not in it. فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. He said, what does ahdasa mean? Ahdasa means to bring something brand new. Whoever brings something brand new, ihdath, something brand new. Look, they bring mawlid. Nobody ever did it. It's rejected. You know, as he explained, مَا لَيْسَ فِيهِ مُنْ رِوَايَةٍ مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ يَنْ. What does مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ mean? It means whoever brings, introduces, invents, in fi amrina. Amrina means deenina. Whoever introduces in our religion, مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ, that doesn't have anything to do with our religion. It has no asal. There is no origin. There is no basis, no grounding. Whoever introduces into our religion anything that does not have an asal already in it, then it's absolutely brand new. The Prophet said, that's rejected. That's no good. Question is, what if you bring something that does have basis inside the religion, that is proven in Quran and Sunnah? Are you going to say it's rejected? Let me ask you a question. Have I not proven from the evidences of the Quran and Sunnah that the concept of mawlid had asal, it has origin in Quran and Sunnah? Has that not been mentioned? Has that been proven? Yes. It has, hasn't it? If it's been proven, then tell me, can we apply this hadith to the mawlid? No. It is injustice. You are doing wrong. You are not explaining the deen properly to the people. You are fooling them and misguiding them. They're taking hadith, not explaining them. You're taking hadith and not applying them correctly. You take them out of context and apply them. Understand ma laysa fihi, ma laysa minhu. When you've understood that, then apply this hadith, whether it's permissible for the concept of Mawlid or not. This hadith is mentioned in Ibn Majah, in Bukhari, in the Muwatta of Imam Malik. I have here Man Sanna fil Islam, the previous hadith is mentioned in Sahih Muslim. It's also mentioned by Baghawi in Sharh Sunnah. It's mentioned by Imam Ibn Abi Shayba in the Musannaf. It's also mentioned in the Sahih of Ibn Hibban. It's also mentioned in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. It's mentioned in the Musnad of Imam Bazzar. Tabarani mentioned in Mu'jam al-Kabir. These are references to these ahadith. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said in the hadith, Durush. من صنع أمرا على غير أمرنا فهو رد. Whoever introduces a matter على غير أمرنا, that is not according to our religion, it's against our religion, فهو رد. The Prophet said على غيرنا, it's against our religion. It's clear. The Prophet is defining the parameters, the structure of the concept of bid'ah. This was understood by the ulama. How can you then say every bid'ah is bad? Well, man said that in Islam. What about ala ghayri amrina? What do you say about this? How do you explain this to the masses? You can't pick and choose hadith that suits your manhaj. This is injustice. Injustice to the Quran and injustice to the Sunnah. This hadith is mentioned in the Sunan of Abu Dawood. We see that. Let me now go on to a hadith which he mentioned of Sayyidina Umar in Tarawih. It's a big issue for him right now. He disrespected Sayyidina Umar. You know how? Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. You know how he disrespected? He disrespected in the choice of words he chose. He said Sayyidina Umar's words mean nothing. Yet this is the same Umar that Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, Inna Allah ta'ala ja'ala al-haq. Ja'ala al-haqqa ala lisani Umar. Umar is he who Allah ta'ala put the truth on his tongue. You're saying one thing. Shall we believe him or shall we believe Sayyidina Umar? The biggest hadith we use for bid'ah in Bukhari Sharif is this hadith of Sayyidina Umar. Where Sayyidina Umar, after Nabi alayhi salatu salam's time, congregated the Jama'at of Salatul Tarawih. They read it in Jama'at behind one Imam. Sayyidina Umar said, according to the hadith of Bukhari Sharif, Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, Ni'matil bid'atu hadhihi. What a good bid'ah this is. What a good bid'ah, good innovation this is. And they said this hadith, Sayyidina Umar didn't mean bid'ah the way you mean it. And they give the interpretation. Imran objected to this hadith. He said, Hazrat Umar said, according to the tabaqat of Ibn Sa'd, if this bid'ah is good, if this is a bid'ah, if this was a bid'ah, then it would have been good. He said, if this was, these were his words, if this was, he said, look, tabaqat of Ibn Sa'd, he said, no. Oh, now you come into a munazara. Everything you say is watched. It's not low. Where's low written in Tabaqat ibn Sa'd? I have a copy here of the original text. said, لئن كانت هذه بدعة لنعمة البدعة هي. He said, low. You know the difference between low and in? He doesn't know. Because in one video he said if, then the video in his car, he said low again. In and low are huruf al-shart, both of them. In and low are particles of condition. When you want to express condition in the Arabic language, you use in or you use low, amongst the others. He said low. You know what low comes for? Past tense, madi. He said if this was a bid'ah, if this was a bid'ah, the Umar didn't say low. He said la'in. What does in come for? In comes for mudari, mustaqbil, istiqbal. In comes for future. Sayyidina Umar's understanding minah. Hazrat Umar's understanding. Hazrat Umar said, if this was a good bid'ah, if Hazrat Umar is thinking, no, they're doing Jamaat, if this is a bid'ah, if this will become a bid'ah, what did he say? What a good bid'ah. He didn't say if this was. He didn't say if this was a bid'ah, it would be a good bid'ah. He said if this is, and it's going to be, if this does become a bid'ah, you know, he was telling, Hazrat Umar was telling him. Hazrat Umar is telling him, understand a few manhaj. Before you get it wrong, attribute lies to me. Before you attribute wrong to me, let me make it clear. I don't use low, I use in. I ain't talking past tense. I'm talking in the future. لَإِنْ كَانَتْ هَذِهِ بِدْعَةً. If this is, or if this will become a bid'ah, people, let me tell you, la ni'matul bid'atu hiya. What a good bid'ah this is. La ni'matul bid'atu hiya. What a good bid'ah. I'm telling you, my fatwa is, it's a good bid'ah. Somebody is saying, what? What do you understand? He understands bid'ah is of two types. Good and bad. Are you going to follow him? Are you going to follow Sayyidina Umar? He is absolutely right. Look, the Arabic language doesn't lie. I have Kafir ibn Hajib here. We have the Shara Mullah Jami here. Shara Jami here. Mullah Jami. Mullah Jami mentions it here as well. Mullah Jami mentions it here. وَمَعْنَاهُ أَنَّهُ إِنْ لِلْإِسْتِقْبَالِ. It comes for the future. Jami, the highest level of booking Arabic grammar. Mullah Jami Shah. Kafia ibn Hajib. The grammarians have told us what low comes for and what in comes for. Hazrat Umar didn't use low. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Tell me. Why are you telling the whole world it's low when it was in? The words of Tabaqat Ibn Sa'd. Are you going to take the Tabaqat of Ibn Sa'd, the historian, over the words of Imam Bukhari, the scholar of Hadith? You said Bukhari, would you bring Ibn Sa'd in your defense? They said, bring me authentic. Ibn Sa'd is a historian. Ibn Sa'd is known for this. Imam Bukhari is about this. Talk to Imam Bukhari, rahmatullah alayhi. Ask Imam Bukhari what he thinks. He mentioned this hadith in there. My challenge to you, Imran, present me any book in the history of Islam where Sayyidina Umar used low. My challenge. Any book where Sayyidina Umar used low, if this was, he did it. bid'ah. What a good bid'ah. My fatwa, what a good bid'ah. Says Umar, there is good bid'ah and bad bid'ah in Islam. The Prophet told us, whoever introduces a bad bid'ah that Allah and Rasul are not happy with, clear. The Prophet defined bad bid'ah. And they defined good bid'ah. We mentioned, we see this clearly. Hazrat, that is Hazrat Umar's understanding on bid'ah. This is what Sayyidina Umar understood. Let's ask the ulama of the Ahl Sunnah, the aqwal of the Salaf. What do they understand from bid'ah? He said Imam Shafi'i. He quoted Imam Shafi'i. He took one saying, but he didn't take the other. Again, the pick and choose tactic. Pick what suits them. Choose it. Go ahead with it. Why don't you do justice, my brother? I'm requesting you. Do justice. You're qualified to talk about the deen. Talk about it fully. Bring it all out. Bring it all to the table. Bring your books. We're ready. Imam Shafi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, he said, Imam Shafi said this, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, this is mentioned in Siru A'lam al-Nubala, the work of Imam Zahabi. Zahabi is accepted by the Salaf. Salafis accept Zahabi. He's one of the Imams. Imam Zahabi said in his book, Siru A'lam al-Nubala, he said, Al-Muhdasatu min al-Umuri Dharma. New matters in the deen are in two categories, two types. He's saying this that opposes the Quran, that opposes the Sunnah, that opposes the narrations, that opposes consensus, ijma'. فَهَذِهِ الْبِدْعَةُ This bid'ah mazmuma. This is not praiseworthy. This is a blameworthy bid'ah. Dalala. This is misguided. Imam Shafi is defining, telling us the understanding of bid'ah. This is not me. This is not the ulama here. These are the scholars from the early generations. He then said, وَمَا أُحْدِثَ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ Whoever introduces something good, لَا خِلَافَ فِيهِ لِوَاحِدٍ مَنْ هَذَا And it does not oppose any one of Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', Athar. It doesn't oppose the Quran. He does something new that doesn't go against the Quran. لَا خِلَافَ فِيهِ It doesn't oppose. فَهَذِهِ مُحْدَثَةٌ غَيْرِ مَزْمُومَةٍ This is a new introduction that is not blameworthy. This isn't bad. These are these words, Imam Shafi'i's words. Then he said, قَدْ قَالَ عُمَرُ He now finds the basis of his understanding of this principle from which hadith? Hazrat Umar's hadith. Hazrat Umar's words. He said, قَدْ قَالَ عُمَرُ فِي قِيَامِ رَمَضَانَ Umar said, in the qiyam, standing of Salatul Tarawih in Ramadan, standing and he stood, the camera behind him. نِعْمَةِ الْبِدْعَةُ هَذِهِ Good bid'ah this is. Hazrat Umar said, what a good bid'ah, it's a good thing. What a good practice I've introduced. What a good matter. يعني أنها محدثة لم تكن وإذا كانت فليس فيها رد لما مضى. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi said, يعني that is a محدثة لم تكن. This is something that wasn't done. Imam Shafi did something that wasn't done before. And then إذا وإذ كانت and then tell me, you said Imam Shafi said this. Shafi saying this as well. Why are you picking and choosing? Tell me. Then Then we see, Bayhaqi also mentioned that. He mentioned Al-Allama Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar in his speech. He said, Ibn Hajar, rahmatullah alayhi, Allah be pleased with him. My question, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's hadith. My question, what did Ibn Hajar say about bid'ah? What did Sayyidina Ibn Hajar understand? Ibn Hajar came centuries after Imam Shafi'i. What did Ibn Hajar say? He explained this in his Fathul Bari, one of the most authentic commentaries of Sahih Bukhari. Imam Ibn Hajar understood from Sahih Bukhari hadith of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, and Ibn Hajar rahmatullah alayhi, he said, وَالْبِدْعَةُ أَصْلُهَا مَا أُحْدِثَ عَلَى غَيْرِ مِثَالٍ سَابِقٍ. Bid'ah, whenever asl is used by the ulama, it means literally. Bid'ah in its origin, literally, مَا أُحْدِثَ عَلَى غَيْرِ مِثَالٍ سَابِقٍ, is something that is invented, a new matter introduced that you've never seen before. It wasn't like before. غَيْرِ مِثَالٍ سَابِقٍ. There's no previous example of this. Then he said, وَتَطْلُقُ فِي الشَّرْعِ فِي مُقَابِلِ السُّنَّةِ. But in Sharia, technically, bid'ah is opposite of sunnah in Sharia. He then said, فَتَكُونُ رَزِيمَةً. That is bad. The bid'ah that has no origin in sunnah, that opposes Quran and Sunnah, that is bad. He continued, he said, وَالتَّحْقِيقُ. But the truth is, the reality is about this issue. أَنَّهَا إِنْ كَانَتْ مِمَّا تَنْتَرِجُ فِي الشَّرْعِ فَهِيَ مُسْتَقْبَحَةٌ. Because the Sunnah, if it is established in the Asl, if it is proven, تَحْتَ مُسْتَحْسَنٍ فِي الشَّرْعِ, yani there's istihsan, there is good of it inside the Sharia, good mentioning of what he's doing in the Sharia, فَهِيَ حَسَنَةٌ. Ibn Hajar said, my fatwa, it's a good bid'ah. Then, he said, وَإِنْ كَانَتْ, and if it is مِمَّا تَنْدَرِجُ تَحْتَ مُسْتَقْبَحَةٍ, if it is under تَحْتَ مُسْتَقْبَحٍ, if it's under kabih, it is bad. There is no asl for it in Sharia. في الشرع فهي مستقبحة, then it is bad. If you do something new in Islam that has no basis in the Quran and Sunnah, then it is bad. If you do something that is proven, its origin is from Quran and Sunnah, and it can be proven, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. He then said, وَإِلَّا, and if not, فَهِيَ مِنْ قِسْمِ الْمُبَاحِ. It goes into the category of mubah, permissible. No sword, no reward, no punishment. And then he said, وَقَدْ تَنْقَسِمُ إِلَى الْأَحْكَامِ الْخَمْسَةِ. It's divided into 5 categories. Ibn Hajar said, bid'ah then will be divided into 5 categories. Ibn Hajar said 5 categories. You say everything is bad. You say Ibn Hajar, may Allah be pleased with him. Certainly may Allah be pleased with him. He understood Sahih Bukhari. He understood the alfaz of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu better than me and you. He was an alim of another level. Ibn Hajar Asqalani rahmatullahi ta'ala. You see, what does Imam Nawawi say? Imam Nawawi is accepted by them. Shafi is accepted by the Salaf. Imam Ibn Hajar, may Allah be pleased with them. They all accepted. What does Imam Shafi, what does Imam Nawawi say? You know, Riyadh al-Salihin, the Arba'in, these 2 books, they get published and distributed free in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh al-Salihin is distributed free in Saudi Arabia. What does Imam Nawawi, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, say about this issue? And with Imam Let me ask you what the great Al-Izz Ibn Abd Salam, the great Izzuddin Ibn Abd Salam. You know Izzuddin Ibn Abd Salam, you know who he was? He was given this title that I've never heard for any other alim. You hear Sultan al-Awliya, don't you? He is Sultan al-Awliya, he is Sultan. He was Sultan al-Ulama. Subhanallah. Sultan means king. He was the king of scholars. Izzuddin Ibn Abd Salam, authority, no dispute. They accept him, we accept him. Let's ask Izzuddin, what does he think? Let's ask Imam Nawawi. قال الإمام عز الدين ابن عبد السلام ونقله عنه الإمام الحافظ محي الدين النووي في تهذيب الأسماء واللغات. Izzuddin ibn Abd Salam said, Imam Nawawi has mentioned this and will naqal of this from the book تهذيب الأسماء واللغات. قال النووي هناك. Nawawi said there. قال الشيخ الإمام المجمع على جلالته. Allahu Akbar. Look at the titles Imam Nawawi uses. He said, the Shaykh, the Imam, the one who his greatness is agreed. Everyone acknowledges how great he is. Al-Mujma'u ala jalalatihi. The maqam of this man is not disputed. وَتَمَكُنُهُ مِنْ أَنْوَاءِ الْعُلُومِ وَبَرَاءَتِهِ. This man is firmly grounded in the sciences of the religion. This man has such depth that very few had like that. His name is Abu Muhammad, the father of Muhammad. Abdul Aziz, that's his name. Ibn Abd Salam. Abdul Aziz ibn Abd Salam. Rahimahullah wa radiya anhu. Allah shall mercy on him and be pleased with him. في آخر كتاب. He said at the end of his book, Al-Qawaid. The book's name is Qawaid. Who's? Izzuddin ibn Abd Salam. He said, Al-Bid'atu munqasamatun ila wajibatin. Bid'ah is divided into wajib wa muharrama, haram, wa manduba, mandub, preferable, wa mubah, permissible. Izzuddin ibn Abd Salam and Nawawi have told us bid'ah is divided into categories. Not every bid'ah is bad. If it was, are they wrong? Are these scholars wrong? You said, I don't take knowledge from this Imam, he's from today. We go to the scholars of the past. We don't take it from you too. We go to the scholars of the past. I brought the scholars of the past for you. I mentioned to you Nawawi. I mentioned to you the maqam of Izzuddin ibn Abd Salam, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. I mentioned to you the quote of Imam Shafi'i. Now let me mention to you the one you love the most, Hafiz ibn Kathir. What did Ibn Kathir understand from bid'ah? What did he say bid'ah means? Allahu Akbar. Ibn Kathir, under the verse, Badi'u as-samawati wal-ard, he said, فإن كل محدثة بدعة والبدعة على قسمين. تارة تكون بدعة شرعية كقوله فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. وتارة تكون بدعة لغوية كقول أمير المؤمنين عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عن جمعه إياهم على صلاة التراويح واستمرارهم نعمة البدعة هذه. The words of Hafiz ibn Kathir in his tafsir ibn Kathir about what a bid'ah means. He said, bid'ah is divided into two categories. Sometimes it's bid'ah shar'i. What is that? Where the Prophet ﷺ said, indeed every new matter is an innovation, and every innovation is bid'ah is of 5 times, 4 times. Nawawi mentioned 5 times. Shafi mentioned 2 times. The point is, there's no one type of bid'ah that is just bad. The scholars understood bid'ah can be divided into categories. This is what Al-Minhaj, fi Sharh Sahih Muslim ibn Hajjaj, if we get the Minhaj as well, we can see what Imam Nawawi rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi has said about these matters as well. You can see it in his Minhaj, Sharh Sahih Muslim ibn Hajjaj. I've got another challenge for you. This is my turn to do 2.5 hours. I took probably, I'm talking 7 till 7, 12 hours, 3 nights. And I've not even gone halfway. I've not even got halfway. Telling you it's about 5 hours long. Fatimi issue, mas'ala of tarq, all the contentious points, the conclusion, and the challenges I have for you. And it's only 11:30. But I think Haji Abesra will be coming soon as well. Allahu Akbar. I think Haji Saab's here already. My challenge. I presented to you 5 scholars from the Ahlul Sunnah who have explained bid'ah. My challenge to you is, we want you to present 5 of the same caliber of scholars that said there is no type of division when it comes to bid'ah. Present to me that. I presented 5, you present 5 to me, same caliber, who said there's only one type of bid'ah and that's bad. This is my challenge to you, Brother Imran, and the Salafi manhaj. My brothers, in conclusion to the mas'ala of bid'ah, every bid'ah is not bad. Only those bid'ahs that go against Quran and Sunnah are bad. And 2 dozen points of the same caliber. We can present to you, okay, 2 dozen points, we can, of scholars who divided bid'ah into categories. You present 5 of the same level that I mentioned, and we'll accept bid'ah. This is the situation. Hazrat, bid'ah, Baba, it's a bid'ah. With a bid'ah brigade. That's all they say, bid'ah. The Prophet didn't do it, you can't do it. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do it, you can't do it. The Prophet ﷺ didn't do it, you can't do it. Give us the delete. Kullu bid'atin dalalah. We've understood every bid'ah is not misguided. Every bid'ah that contradicts the Sunnah and Quran, against that is misguided. That is bad. We accept that. But every bid'ah that is proven from Quran and Sunnah, that bid'ah is not bad. It's good. The point is, if you do something that has an origin inside Quran and Sunnah, then it is allowed. It is permissible. That's what we have understood from the hadith, Sayyidina Umar and the 5 scholars that I mentioned. Right. Let me go to the next point, and he said the rapist. Let me talk about this issue. Let me explain to you first. Takbir. and we don't follow Malik Muzaffar al-Kukaburi. We don't follow these people. What do we follow? Quran. Let me just touch on this issue, and I think I'm going to have to stop my speech and do this another time. We can arrange same place, same time next week. I might send Parvez in his Rolls Royce to go pick him up. I might have to do that. He might actually turn up. He made an excuse, Bradford. It's too far. Or one of his guys said it's too far. Ajib. You came Bradford about 2 weeks ago. What a problem then? Ajib understand. We follow Quran and Sunnah. Fatimis were who? Those who claim their lineage went back to Sayyidina Fatima radiallahu ta'ala. People, Mu'izz bi dinillah, Hakim bi amrillah. Al-Mu'izz bi dinillah and Hakim bi amrillah. Bring a chair for Hadith. No. Bring it for me. Let me mention some points. Fatimi started in Egypt the practice of Mawlid. But as what? As a national day of rejoice. They made it into a national day of rejoice. A national day of rejoice. Who? Fatimis. This is what they did. And they did this in a specific manner. This is the truth. Where the Khalifa, the Caliph, would attend, scholars would come, speeches were organized by the government. Yani, it was a national day of rejoice. That's what the Fatimis introduced. They did not introduce the practice of Mawlid. They introduced it to be on a national day. They made it into a national day. That's what they introduced, not Mawlid. Mawlid is for Quran and Sunnah. SubhanAllah. They did it on one day, national day. We have then, at the same time, Muzaffar al-Kawkaburi, a couple of hundred years after, Malik Muzaffar al-Kawkaburi, the king Muzaffar, he started in Iraq, Irbil, Iraq. He started to do Mawlid with army parade, stage, speeches, machines, food, and this was done on a national level. He established this nationally. It might have been done in Kufa and Basra, but nationally, this is what he introduced. He mentioned a scholar called Mufti Muhammad al-Muti'i. And he said this Hanafi in his book. He said, Ahsanul Quran. He knows that I can't control. I was in madrasa with him for about 3 years. The smile said it all. He said, Ahsanul Quran, Mufti Muti'i al-Hanafi. Imran, there's no book called Ahsanul Quran. It's called Ahsanul Kalam. فيما يتعلق بالسنة والبدعة من الأحكام. Ahsanul Kalam, not Ahsanul Quran. Get it right. Get it right. Get this. We got this copy. We went a long way to get this copy and we got it. Mufti Muti'i was a Hanafi. He's right. What did he say? Especially Malik Muzaffar al-Kukaburi. He said, celebrate the Mawlid, it would be impossible for you to see it as being permissible. He said, if you knew what they were doing, you wouldn't think it's halal. You wouldn't think it's permissible. What did he actually say? The Arabic is here. وأنت إذا علمت ما كان يعمله الفاطميون ومظفر الدين في المولد النبوي جزمت بأنه لا يمكن أن يحكم عليه كله بالحلم. Look what he said. He said, if you knew what the Fatimis and Muzaffar the king, Muzaffar al-Din did in relation to Mawlid al-Nabawi, the Prophet's Mawlid, alayhi salatu wassalam, Jazamta, you would be certain, it is certain, you would be certain بأنه لا يمكن, that it is not possible, أن يحكم عليه كله. It's not possible to make everything they did be halal. He didn't say it is not halal but permissible. He said there's some things they were doing that weren't permissible. We said the same thing. If a woman came in here, haram. We said the same. If somebody drank alcohol in a Mawlid gathering, haram. We're saying the same thing Mufti is saying. What are you saying? Why are you telling people he didn't consider it permissible? Read the ibadat properly. You know what? He didn't read the ibadat. He didn't read it. His scholars gave him a script and they read. We've got the ibadat here. The ibadat is here. We found it. We dug deep to get out what is actually saying. Why? So the world knows they are attributing lies to the Prophet ﷺ. They are attributing lies on this issue. Then he mentioned this book here. It is this book. This book. My challenge, Imran, this book. Prove to me anywhere where he said Mawlid is not allowed. This is your proof. You prove to me where he said Mawlid isn't allowed. We've read the entire book. He wrote 20 pages to defend the Mawlid. Is the book I'm using to make it permissible. That's my fourth challenge. And remember, this is his speech. I'm in tahqiq of his speech. My speech was the first hour, where I gave my dalail. This is his points, what he said, what the truth is. Let me continue. The next book. He said, Kitab al-Khudat. It's Kitabul Khitat, not Khutat. He made a big mistake. Kitabul Khitat. And the actual book's name is Kitabul Mawa'izi wal I'tibari bi Dhikr al-Khitati wal Asari. The Musannif of this kitab is a man called Taqi bin al-Maqrizi. Maqrizi is the Musannif. He's the one who wrote this book. We found the script that he quoted. He said, Fatimi started the Mawlid practice. Let me mention to you that A'yad, they mention certain A'yad. A'yad is Jama of Eid. A'yad is Jama of Eid. Certain Eids they introduced. They mention Yom Ashura, Mawlid al-Nabi, the Mawlid of Sayyidina Ali, the Mawlid of Hassan, and Imam Hussain and Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. He said they made that day into a day of celebration. Not they introduced. There's a difference between introduction and to consider it a national day of celebration. They considered it a national day of celebration. We accept. That is their innovation. That is what they started. But we don't accept you saying Mawlid was started by them. It wasn't. The Mawlid is mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Continues. I want to now challenge him. Where in Mikrizi's book did he say Mawlid is haram? It's impermissible. In Mikrizi's book, tell him. Now I'm going to tell you, who is this Imam Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi? He didn't tell you that, did he? He said, look, Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi mentioned in Kitab al-Khutat. That's what he said. And what I'm going to tell you is in Imta'ul Asma. The book Imta'ul Asma. Who is Taqiyuddin al-Mikrizi? He was a staunch believer in the wasila of the Prophet. He emphasized visiting a Rawdatul Sharifa, the Prophet's blessed resting place. And he said, when you make dua, when you stand, don't turn your back to the Prophet. Subhanallah. He then continued. He believed in gaining barakah from the Rawdatul Sharifa. He believed that you can take blessings from the Prophet's resting place. He believed and understood and everything the Prophet touched. The amal of the Sahaba, the practice of the Sahaba, what did he say? He said to rub the hands on what the Sahaba used to rub their hands. The Prophet touched. This is my practice, this is his tradition. This is what he did. And he said, you know the best place in the entire world? Makrizi is saying. He said, it's the Rawdatul Sharifa. Subhanallah. The Prophet's resting place is the best place in the world. When I tell me, Imran, you're bringing a Sufi scholar for your manhaj. When your manhaj rejects Sufis, what basis have you made the argument on? You bring a Hanafi, but you're ghair muqallid. You bring a Hanafi and you don't follow any Imam. You bring a Sufi and you don't accept the Sufis. You speak against deviants. Why did you bring Mikrizi? Tell me. Did you not know who Mikrizi was? He's a staunch Sunni. Subhanallah. Staunch Sunni. He believed in the Sunnah of the Prophet. My challenge, again, from this book proof, Mikrizi said Mawlid is impermissible. Malak Muzaffar, this is now a good subject. He said, Malak Muzaffar, he said about him that he was split in personality. 1 minute he's generous, next minute he's a tyrant. You know, Muzaffar Malik. This individual was the brother-in-law of Sultan Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Salahuddin al-Ayyubi's brother-in-law. So if he started Mawlid and Salahuddin is his brother-in-law, why didn't Salahuddin tell him to do bid'ah? We all talk about Salahuddin, liberator of Palestine, great Imam, great Alim. Give me the line. Who is Salahuddin al-Ayyubi? We all know the great Maqam of Salahuddin. Malak Muzaffar of Irbil, he did a character assassination of him. Let me mention a point. Everything I've mentioned so far, he mentioned about the Fatimi, the rapists, the this, the that, etc. The tyrants, we accept. No problem. But they did not start the moment. Make this clear. They did not start the practice of celebrating the birth of the Prophet. This was the practice of the Sahaba. They did this. The Asnaf before them, they just introduced doing it on a national day, at a national level. Because they were careless, they introduced it. That in itself is an innovation. We can debate whether it's good or bad. We know that there's good and bad. That's another point. The point is the origin of Mawlid didn't start from them. But look at the target. To explain Mawlid, first thing, started from Shia. Why do I have to defend Shia? I don't defend them. They're not my imams. Muzaffar is our imam. But Muzaffar is the king of the Ahl Sunnah as well. He was the king of Irbil, he's Sunni Ahl Sunnah. Who is he? He said, split personality, generous and Italian. Let me bring, once again, Hafiz Ibn Kathir. Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, I have open in front of me. He discusses Al-Malik al-Muzaffar Abu Sa'id al-Kukuburi, the son of Zayd al-Din. Malik Muzaffar al-Kukuburi, what did he say? وَكَانَ يَعْمِلُ الْمَوْلِدَ الشَّرِيفَةِ Mawlid al-Sharifa. Look what Ibn Kathir said. He was the one who practiced the blessed Mawlid. Ibn Kathir is saying Al-Mawlid al-Sharif. Mawlid is Sharif. It's blessed. It's noble. It's great. Hafiz Ibn Kathir understood Mawlid to be great and blessed. Why are you telling the whole world something else? He's your Imam. Ibn Kathir is the one you adore. You say, I have seen Ibn Kathir here. He is using the words Al-Mawlid al-Sharifa. Then, في ربيع الأول ويحتفل به احتفالا هائلا. And he used to do it in a gathering. Ihtifal, like this. Then he continued and said, وكان مع ذلك شحما شجاعا فاتكا بطلا عاقلا عالما عادلا. He said, you know who he was? He was a man of courage. He was an alim. He said he was a zalim. Imran said zalim. Hafiz Ibn Kathir said alim. Are you going to take Imran's zulmat? Are you going to take his injustice? Are you going to take Hafiz Ibn Kathir's ilm? The alim, not a zalim. Ibn Kathir is doing a character assassination, not an assassination, an appraisal of his character. He's doing ta'deed, not jarh. He's going into him. And then he continued, you know what he said? You think he's an adil, he's just. He's not unjust. He's an alim. He's not here alim. You know what's the great thing? You said Mawlid started from him, Muzaffar the king. You know what Hafiz Ibn Kathir said? Rahimahullah ta'ala. Allah have mercy on this king. Ameen. Wa akrama mathwahu. And Allah ta'ala made generous and noble his end. May Allah make his end noble. Ibn Kathir makes dua for him. And you sit there and imply curse upon him. You imply bad on him. Ajib. Brothers, are you going to follow Hafiz Ibn Kathir? Are you going to follow Dawaman Ibrahim ibn Mansur? I leave this question to all of you to think. He's done injustice on this mas'ala. He has not been fair. He's presented his own argument. We continue. And we mentioned Alama Zahabi. Alama Zahabi now talks about called Mu'jam al-Buldan. Yaqut al-Hamawi. Mentioned this man, Yaqut al-Hamawi, Mu'jam al-Buldan. He mentioned it. He said, Malik Muzaffar, he was a zalim. Individual, he would give clothes to the poor people in various cities around the world, around the country. He sent centers to take care of orphans and widows. He was that individual who would, every Hajj, he would take thousands and thousands of gold coins and he would spend them on the needy people in Hijaz. He was that individual on the salam, he would make a grand feast, loads of food, and he would feed everyone. He was morally upright and a humble man. He followed the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. After all of this, Ibn al-Khalaq mentioned everything is clear. We see that this accusation that he makes against us, that the Mawlid started from these people. No. The Mawlid didn't start from the Fatimis or Malik Muzaffar. They may have introduced it to be at a national level, as a national day of rejoice, but they certainly didn't introduce the practice of Milad. And his references, the people he has used, they are all in question. Yaqut al-Hamawi, in question. He used Mikrizi, he's a Sufi. He's a Sufi, he's a man of Tasawwuf, Tariqah. He's from the Ahlul Sunnah. He used the Mufti al-Muti'i. He used this individual, and about Mufti al-Muti'i, we've heard that this individual, he didn't even see where he said Mawlid is impermissible. He writes 20 pages proving it. So his arguments have no basis. They have no ground. Why spread lies? Why tell everyone Mawlid is Shia practice? Rapists used to do it. No. Don't, please. Don't lie. This lie that we're spreading to people is putting ill feeling in their hearts towards the Prophet's birth. And you know who is responsible, my brother Imran? It's you. Your talks are going worldwide. You're talking to hundreds of thousands of people, and you're telling them unjust things, things that are not true. Hazrat Muhtaram, I'm going to conclude my speech. I have the mas'ala of Tarq. He said, do what the Prophet did, leave what the Prophet left. So if the Prophet didn't do Mawlid, they left it, we should leave it. I want to tackle this issue. Tensions once he's raised. You only please Allah, you don't please the Prophet. That's what you said. But Allah told me in the Quran, Allah, Wallahu wa Rasuluhu ahaqqu an yurduhu. Of post-mortem government. But I'll only do it if you come back. I know those that I know here, they'll have to come back. They've got no choice. I will go to speak at their mosques then. So I'm going to conclude it here. MashaAllah, Haji Asim is here, very good friend. I thank him for waiting so patiently. And I hope that he has enjoyed, and first of all, welcome to our masjid. This is where we do the khidmah of the deen, without any care, without restrictions. You understood that, right? It's hard to go to the mosque. Anyhow, there's a lot of points that are left. You tell me when. This Saturday and Sunday, I'm in Holland. Next Saturday and Sunday, I fly out to Palestine. Me and my very, very good friend, one of my best friends, we're going. Just the two of us. So weekend is out of the question. Now, you tell me how you want to do this. Because I can record it when my voice is back and roaring again. I must admit, it's not gone that bad. If anything, it's got better. Don't you agree? Yes. If it wasn't, it would have walked out. Who's that man's teaching? But I want to ask you then, what do you want to do? Choose a date, a time. You need a week, next week, this week, and we can arrange it. If you leave it to me, all I want from you is a guarantee you'll come back to listen to the rest.